Hello and welcome to my channel. Today is Thursday, and as always, that means it's time for True Crime Tales with Christiana. Whoop, whoop. All right. As always, we have a content warning because, shit gets graphic, we get disgusting, we talk about dismembering, rape, cruelty to animals, all kinds of shit. So if you can't handle that, now's your time to scroll. Other than that, let's just get into it because it's not a very long one, but it is an interesting one, if you ask me. My dog is barking. I'm so sorry, guys. My dog, she barks all the time. There's not really anything I can do about it. So, starting out with the story, we've got Christian Charles Nielsen is an American spree killer who fatally shot 4 people, dismembering 3 over the span of 4 days around the Black Bear Bed and Breakfast, a remodeled farmhouse and an inn located in the resort town of Newry, Maine. Now, if you've never been to Maine, that's like way up north, big on lobster, all of that. On September 1st, he murdered a handyman and attempted to incinerate his corpse. Over the next 3 days, he murdered and dismembered 3 women, including Julie Bullard, the lodge's owner, to cover up his first murder. On September 4th, 2006, Nielsen invited his father and stepmother to the property for Labor Day. After they arrived at the lodge and found one of the victims, Nielsen's father immediately called the police. At least Daddy didn't try to, clean up the crime or hide it. He was like, yeah, no, we call him the po-po. Christian Nielsen was subsequently arrested and pleaded guilty to the murders in 2007. The motive behind the crimes was never established. Honestly, when I was looking at this, it just sounds like he just decided one day, like he just went off his rocker and was like, you know what, I'm going to murder somebody today. Like, there are better things to do when you're bored, Christian, and murder is not one of them. Christian Charles Nielsen was born on May 2nd, 1975 in Rumford, Maine. When he was 4 years old, Nielsen's parents divorced. 2 years later, a Rumford District Court judge ruled that Nielsen's father would gain custody of Nielsen and his little sister, stating that his mother did not have the emotional stability to care for young children. I don't know if that's accurate. I couldn't really find anything about the mother. But there was speculation that she was not a mentally well person. Nielsen's friends, co-workers, neighbors, classmates, and others described him as acting normal in his youth. Between 2001 and 2004, Nielsen studied English at the University of Maine, but did not earn a degree. He said during an interrogation that he had fantasies about murdering people and desired to be a serial killer from ages 13 to 26. As an adult, Nielsen worked as a line cook for the Sudbury Inn in Bethel. A co-worker described him as a reliable, soft-spoken, and quiet guy. He had been staying at the Black Bear for 2 months before the murders. His license had also been revoked for driving under the influence. On September 1st, 2006, Nielsen invited James Whitehurst, 50, to fish with him in Uptown. The neighboring town, Whitehurst, a native of Arkansas, had been temporarily living at the inn and worked as a handyman for the owner. After Whitehouse accepted the offer, the two went to a local Subway restaurant for lunch. After they finished eating their sandwiches, they went to a wooded area of Upton that was about 15 miles away from the Black Bear Inn, and Nielsen proceeded to shoot Whitehurst multiple times in the head, killing him. He then left Whitehurst's corpse there to go to his job. The next day, Nielsen returned to Upton to dig a grave. However, he instead decided to burn Whitehurst's body with gasoline. The following morning, Nielsen murdered Julie Bullard, the owner of the inn, because he suspected that she would be suspicious of Whitehurst's disappearance. Nielsen broke down her bedroom door as she slept and fatally shot her 3 times in the head, chest, and back. After killing her, he dragged her body into the nearby woods, cut it in half with an axe and a hacksaw, and wrapped her body with a tarp before leaving for his job. On September 4th, 2006, Nielsen went to his father's house to borrow a chainsaw. When he returned to the inn, where Julie Bullard's daughter, 30-year-old Selby Bullard, and her friend, Cindy Beatson, showed up unexpectedly for Labor Day, fearing that Bullard would wonder about her mother's whereabouts, he shot both guests in the head. Afterwards, he dragged both bodies outside and dismembered them with the chainsaw and hacksaw. He also cut off their fingers and removed their rings, placing them in his duffel bag. I can't figure out, with this, if he, they meant, he put the fingers with the rings in his duffel bag, or just the rings. I don't know. But either way, I would not want to be caught walking around with somebody's finger in my bag. Just saying. Later that day, Nielson called his father and claimed that he was temporarily running the inn while Julie Bullard was in California. That night, Nielson's father and stepmother arrived at the inn, whereupon they found a body outside and immediately called police. Before law enforcement arrived, Nielson's stepmother called 911 again, stating that he confessed to her that he was behind the murders. Nielson was arrested without resistance. He gave the police a 2-hour-long confession detailing how he committed all the murders. He also told law enforcement the location of Whitehurst's body, which had not been found by that time. Initially pleading not guilty to the 4 counts of murder he was charged with, Nielson was to be held in the Oxford County Jail until his trial. However, he attacked another inmate, causing him to be transferred to the Cumberland County Jail. While in jail, he lost 55 pounds during a hunger strike, dropping from 158 pounds to 103. Before the sheriff of Cumberland County obtained a court order to insert a feeding tube, he began eating again on his own before the tube could be inserted. In December 2006, Nielson used a disposable razor to carve the letter X onto his scalp. Because of this, he was placed on suicide watch. After an examination at the Rearview Psychiatric Center, Nielson's lawyer changed Nielson's plea to not criminally responsible after he was found to have schizoid personality disorder, Asperger's, and other mental illnesses. In spite of this, Nielson was deemed competent to stand trial because he was not suffering from a psychotic episode at the time of the murders, meaning he was able to willingly make decisions. Nielson, not wishing to stand trial, changed his plea to guilty. On October 18, 2007, Nielson was sentenced to 4 concurrent life terms in prison. He now resides at Maine State Prison. Like I said, it was a very short one today. We didn't really have a whole lot to talk about. As always, it's sad. We should take a moment for Selby and her friend and Julie and James and Julie's friend Cindy, Selby's friend Cindy. As always, please don't do anything I wouldn't do. Be cautiously kind to others. Make good choices. And have a nice week. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.